welcome. My name is Franklin. Let me know if you can hear me. If you can see my screen, much appreciated.
You are welcome. Welcome to Data Analysis Scholarship course. Tonight we are looking at Excel automation, how we can automate our task. We will be looking at rewards as regards to student result sheets, sales commissions, and tonight we are going to be delving deep into it and then designing some slips. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen, much appreciated. And as our tradition is, let's head over to the scholarship group and bombard the group, let everyone know we are live. Let's do that within a minute or two before we delve into the main Excel proper. We are not going to waste much time tonight. Let's do that. Also, let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen, that much appreciated. Welcome Adeyemi, I can see you. Ignatius, Chibresa, and Ibe Florence Oba. Welcome. All right, let's head over to the scholarship group. Tag everyone, drop there. We are live, we are on, we are live, we have started. Let's do that quickly, and also remember to hit the like button on this live session and share this session to every teacher. I said that in the group, every teacher and every HR tonight, or any manager, any persons heading anything. Share this live session to them because they are going to be learning some powerful tips tonight. All right, let's do that. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. All right, let me know if you have done that. If you have done that, go to the WhatsApp group, not on this live session, please. Let's head over to the scholarship WhatsApp group and let everyone know we are live. Please, let's do that within a minute or two. Let's do that. If you have done that, just type in the comments, type in the live chat, done. If you have done that, just drop in the live chat, done. Much appreciated. Let's do that. Thank you. Let's do that. If you have done that, much appreciated. Drop in the live chat, done. If you have done that. Let's do that quickly. We are running short of time. If you have done, please confirm. All right, beautiful. Confirm. All right, beautiful. Done. Okay, let's quickly delve into stores. This scholarship course is brought to you by Soluma Institute of Tech and Management. Tonight, as we continue in this data analysis course using Microsoft Excel, we are looking at Excel automation. Using Microsoft Excel, we are looking at Excel automation. where we'll be working on result sheets and sales commission. And that is brought to us by Soluma Institute of Tech and Management. Once again, I'm your facilitator, Mr. Franklin. All right, now without further ado, let's quickly delve into Excel and begin our journey this night. Let's quickly do that and begin our journey this night. Okay, before us is a result sheet, a tentative result sheet with students. We are going to be formatting this from scratch, and then we are going to be looking at it, formatting it from scratch, and get it ready for us to automate. Okay, the next thing we need to do is the first is to bring about the student ID. The student ID. Now, for student ID, we can for this class, we are going to generate a random ID using this function. We are going to type equals rand between. Now, what is the bottom? We are going to say, okay, generate a random value, a random ID of 100, comma, and then 999. 100, comma, and then 999. That is what we need. Now, in that regard, what that simply means is that we need the lowest number to be 100 and the highest number to be 999. Then we hit enter. Now it generates this random figure for us. So what I can come here to do is to double click. As we see, this is 847. We double click, and one thing about rand between, whenever you perform any function, any activity, any action rather, whenever you perform any action in Excel, automatically it updates. So it will not be static. Now, if I double click now, you see that what I have there, 487, is now, if I type anything here, SS1, and hit enter, you see that also automatically updates, which is not good for us. So what we need to do is to convert these numbers into values, into normal values, so that Excel may be seeing them as values, not as function. The function we use is rand between. So for us to do that, we need to remember our strategy, our tricks. That's Control Shift down arrow to highlight the entire range. Let's copy this particular range here, go over to paste, and then paste it as values. So once we do that, we see that automatically this becomes the last change. Then press escape button for this to disappear. Now if I click anywhere here, we are seeing the numbers, not the functions or formulas again. All right, that's the first we have done. We have generated random student IDs. These are unique IDs that are tied to these students. Now, having done that, the next thing we will do is to begin to format these all right, now the next thing I will do is, because this I'm going to highlight all this to stop here and then come here and say merge and center. Then it becomes at the center. These ones I'm going to make them bold. Let's just format it and then make it bold. Let me ensure that everything is clear. Then on the exam score, what I will do is to highlight and stop at this as well, and then say merge and center. Let me come here to make it normal fit, and then here I will bold it, and then here I will bold it as well. That's beautiful. That is to say, all the scores here are test scores. These are exam scores. All right, now let's move forward. We have the total. Now in this total, we are going to highlight all these cells here and say merge and center. It will be at the center. Let's bold it. At the same time, this, highlight this, and then bold it as well. That becomes our total. The next is to highlight the grades. Now under this, we are going to be looking at grades for, okay, we maths, English, biochem, and physics. All right, I'm going to do this. Let me copy this, Control C, and then let me paste here, Control V. All right, that is what we have. Okay, the next I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this. Let me drag it forward here. Beautiful. And then here I'm going to select all these and then merge them. Please, I'm going to be working a bit faster than this. Let's follow me. So we have this. Is it complete? It's not complete. It should be from this maths here, and then let's copy, come here to paste. Let's paste. All right, that's what we have. Then the next I will do in designing this sheet is I will highlight this. Let me move it two steps forward, and then let me move this to this place. I think that's what we have. Okay, now on this I'm going to highlight this and then merge it, and then double click here and say Alt Enter, so as for it to be in the same place. Let me make it smaller. The same way, highlight this, go over to this and merge and center. Come here to break it to the next line. You press Alt Enter. Remember our keyboard shortcut. Then come over to this, double click as well. Our remarks, we merge. All right, remarks. Okay, we are designing this to make it okay for us. The same way, position, merge, and then in the middle. At the same time, we double click here. Let me pull this backward. Let me drag it back. All right. Okay, now we are formatting our result sheet. From what we can see here, we are seeing the test score, the exam score, then we have the total score, we have the grades, we have the grades. Let's do that, and highlight this and then merge and center. We have the grades, also bold it. Then these ones, let's ensure we bold them as well. Is totally our choice anyway. What is totally our choice. If we want to do that, is totally our choice. All right, let's. Okay, now the next is we can format this by putting a color. Let's say we make it this color, and then these ones here, for example, we make it this color. Then this, we come over to this so as to separate it with another color or something like this, so as to have a separate color code. Let's use this, and then we are just formatting this. We are formatting our result sheet. That's what we are doing. So here, let's make it this. Okay, now having done that, the next thing we are going to do is, this is SS1 students. Let's assume it's SS1 students. Come over to this place. Instead of dragging it down, remember our shortcut, you double click. You will come over to this and double click. It fills it down. These are 100 students, a class of 100 students. Now, having established that, here is where we have test results. Here is where we have test results. Now, let's take, for example, our head says we need to separate, put a separator line showing, use a separator lines to show these stores. We can highlight this. Not, we can select this, go to this place, and then select all border, all border. So once you say all border, you see there is a border outline to it. However, I don't really like this kind of all border. What do? I will highlight this. Let's say I highlight them at once. So as let me highlight them at once. So once that is done, I will come to this all borders as well. Come to more border. I will get down to more border, click on it. This dialog box will show. Then I still want the border, let's say I want the border to still be black, but now I only want inside border. I only want inside. I will click on this. So once I click on this, and then I will remove this one, I will uncheck this. Once that is unchecked, I will come over to this place and say okay. Now once that is done, if I click out, we see that this outside border, this particular one is not there, but these ones, what these ones have is this. So for this one I have done already, I can select only that and then go back to this place, come to all border, and then deselect this, come over to this, deselect, come over to this, deselect, come over to this, deselect, and then say okay. Now I'm happy with this type. I'm okay like this. All right, let's begin to apply some functions. Let's begin to apply some functions. We have done basic formatting. Here I can apply a column. I can apply this, for example, then come over to this, apply this or this one. Unless I apply this, then over to this, depending on your choice. This is strictly choice. It's not, there's no rules about it to strictly your choice. You can decide to leave it black and white depending on what you want. Now this is where the test scores will be entered, and this is where the exam scores will be entered. Now when you mark the student script, whatever they score, you enter it here. Now the thing we are going to do is to automate this, that once you enter the test score, enter the exam score, every other thing from this point upward will calculate itself. Now what is the total? The total for maths for this particular student is the math score plus the exam score. The test score of maths plus the exam score of maths. That makes it, that gives it the total. Now let's do that using our Excel formulas. We can say equals to, now let's go over to maths here, and then shift 8, which is asterisk, and then select the math for the exam score. So we are taking the math score and exam score, and we hit enter. Now that becomes 0. That becomes 0. Confirm my audibility, confirm if you can still hear me, so that I will proceed with the next thing we have on on board. Confirm if you can still hear me. Confirm my audibility. We are going to. All right. Now, having established that, because now notice this, because we arrange this sequentially, or math here, English here, the same math here, English here, the same subjects here, the same order of the subjects here is the same order of the subjects here. So because of that, we are going to do what we call relative referencing. Relative referencing is simple. That what relative referencing is all about is you are saying to Excel, if I move one step further, let every stuff that connects to this function or this formula or this result move one step. If I move one step forward, let them move one step forward as well. If I move one step downward as well. So here, what gave me this result is the test score of maths times the exam score of maths. That's what gives me this. So if I move forward, relative referencing is saying if I move one step forward to English, also move from math to English, and this one also move from math to English. What operator? There's what we call operators. In data transformation, you transform data using operators and functions. And when you look at this formula bar, the operator here responsible for the data transformation or the multiplication operator. So this operator here is, while retaining the operator, we are saying Excel, if I'm moving from one cell to another, also move in relative with my movement. That is forward here. If I drag it forward and stop to agree, also do the same thing. As I'm moving, move along with me. That's why we are having the same result, being that all the stuff here is 0, 0, 0. Now let's take, for example, this is biology, to know whether what we did is correct. If I double click here, you see that if I double click there, you will see that biology and biology, which is correct, which means the test score of biology times the exam score of biology. The same way, if I come to accounts and double click, you see that is correct. What that means is that this is a relative movement, a relative referencing. As I move forward, the connecting cells that give me this answer will also move. That's relative referencing. Please bear that in mind. As we progress on this journey, we are going to also understand what absolute or absolute and misreferencing is. In Excel, as regards to data analysis, we have 3 types of referencing. As regards to data analysis in Excel, we have 3 types of referencing in Excel. The first one is what we call relative referencing. That's the first one. In the 3 types of referencing in Excel, the first one is what we call relative referencing. That's the first one. Then the second one is absolute referencing, relative. This is relative. That's one is absolute referencing. Then the third one, which is the last, is what we call mixed referencing. These are the 3 types of referencing in data analysis in Excel. Relative is in line with the movement. If I'm going down like this, go down with me. That's what relative is talking about. If I'm moving down, move down with me. So that is, if I now want to calculate, for the other students, let me freeze this place so as to be seen here. Let me freeze here. All right. Okay. Now, if we move forward now, if I want to check total for other students, this is just for Franklin math. So if I come here, what I can do, instead of doing it one after the other, these are shortcuts that can help us to work faster in Microsoft Excel. Instead of doing it one after the other, coming to this place, double clicking, and coming to this place, double clicking, I can highlight on and then do it once and for all. So once I double click here, okay, this is already done. So let me do it for these remaining ones. So if I double click here, once my cursor is in that autofill function, once my cursor is on that autofill function, I will double click. You will see that the rest is filled up till it will get down to the last cell. So you don't need to bother whether did it get to the last cell. It got to the last cell. So that is filled up. All right. We have calculated the total for the exam score and the test scores. So these are the total score of these students as regards to this particular, as regards to their results. Now let's apply grades. Let's now apply grades. This is where it begins to get very, very interesting. Let's apply grades. What does that mean? How was the grade of, if the person, does he have A? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Is it D? Now let's declare something. Let's put in our thresholds. Now let's say here 70 above will be A, and then 60 above but less than 70 will be B, our normal rating. Let's also say 50 C. Then we have D, and then you remember what we did when I showed us some tricks. You remember what we did when I showed us some tricks. Now when I put D, immediately I put D, it shows me there. So you see what that tricks I did there. I can remove it. Immediately I put D, it showed me there. So let me okay, due to time, I will not, so that we go fast. Let me put 45 here, and then 40, and we have E here. Okay, now anything less than that is F. Anything less than that is F. That's what we have. Anything less than that is F. Okay, we have defined our threshold. In other words, if the total score for math is greater than 70, is greater than or equals to 70, give me A. If not, check if it's greater than or equals to 60. If it is, give me B. If you didn't meet this particular criteria, then go ahead and check if it's greater than, or go ahead and check if it's greater than or equals to 50. If it is, give me C. If it doesn't meet this, any of the three criteria, then you go ahead to check the next condition, which is the D condition, which is between 45 and 49. If anything within that 45 to 49.9999999, give me D. Then if it's between 40 to 44.99999, give me E. Anything less than that, return F for me. So that is where we have this, we say F, that's we can say less than, we can, let me use F less than 40. Let me use this. So that is our criteria. That is our criteria for this particular results standard. You can make use of your own. Maybe you are a lecturer in Polytechnic where they have A, B, C, and all that. You can use that your different ratings. But this, we are making use of the normal one most of us here know. So what function are we going to use in order to automate it so that when we enter this test score and we enter the exam score, everything here automatically updates? So what are we going to do? That is simple. We are going to use the ifs function. So we say equals to if you are using, now what will happen, I will use ifs function here, and then I will use nested if. For those of us who is using Office 2013, 19, I'm not sure if 19 have ifs. I think so. I think 19. I'm not sure if Office 2019 have ifs, but if it has, then you can use it. But if you don't see it, then you make use of the nested if function, which I'm going to use for the next one. So ifs, remember, when we are using the ifs return the logical statements that are true. You don't use ifs to check a logical statement that is false. So ifs or ifs, which some call ifs, that I call it ifs, a kind of plural statement of if. That's my idea of that. So if you are using ifs, you ensure that they true. That's the condition for using if be true. So what is the value if is true? What value if true? Then return this for me. That's the second criteria, the second logical test, or the second logical statement. So we are done with that. So if we take it and it doesn't happen, what next? We click on this again. Now if you didn't check it, now check this next argument. If this is greater than or equals to this, you select this, then comma, what do I need in return? You select this. That is the third logical test. That is the third logical test. You put comma. Now if we didn't see it, what do? We head over to the fourth logical test. If this also is greater than or equals to this value, any value inside this cell. Now, why is this very, very necessary? Why is it very, very important? It's because tomorrow our range might change. It might change from 70 to 75 or to 80. So instead of coming to the formulas to edit it, we can just come here and change the rates, the range, and then every other thing will automatically update. We are going to see that on this section as well. Now, okay, I think I did the wrong stuff here. Okay. Is down here. So if this is greater than or equals to this, comma, so if please, can we hear me? Let's confirm if we can hear me. Let's confirm if we can hear me. Can we hear me now? Can we hear me now? I had a bit of glitch, so let's confirm back again. Drop in the chat if you can hear me. Confirm in the chat, please. Let's quickly do that. If you can hear me, let me know. Let me know if you can hear me. currently drop in the chart. Please confirm if you can hear me drop in the chat. Let's drop in the chat if you can hear me drop that in the chat so that we proceed right away. All right, okay. Now let's proceed. This is the if functions is. We are using it to assign grades so that if this person has 70 or 75 or 52 or so, it will automatically assign it for us so that we don't have to come and be checking, okay, what is this score? See this, we type it manually. No, we are automating it using Excel function so that anybody who is going to make use of this template we prepared, we just need to enter the student test score and the exam score. Other things will be done by itself. Okay, now we have finished the logical test 4. We have finished the 4th logical test, remaining these 2. So the next here is, we are going to click this. If this is greater than or equals to, do you want to return this? That is the 5th logical test. Then we put comma. We are moving to the 6th logical test, which is this. Now we are going to say if this is less than 40. So I'm going to click this again. Now the before is greater than or equals to, but now if it's less than 40, I'm going to click this again, because this is not just a value, it's a string. So I'm going to click this. If it's less than 40, comma, return. Please confirm if we can hear me. Please confirm, can we hear me? And let me know where you stop hearing me, please. Where did you stop hearing me? Let me know. I didn't even know my sound went off. Can we let me know where you stop hearing me, please? Please, let's drop in the chat. Let me know where you stop hearing me so that I can explain again. Because this is important that we understand it. I'm waiting so that, or did we understand everything? If we understand it, you tell me to proceed. Okay, missed referencing. Okay, now the absolute reference, relative referencing, I have shown us that moves a relative movement. Now what I will do, let me hit enter. And okay, let me remove reference from this one alone so that we understand what I'm talking about. So this doesn't have reference. Now let's hit enter. Now if I move forward here, for example, we see this is having F, but watch. If I click on it, this moves one step, this moves. As we can see, this is moving. So this is not written based on this again. Why? Because this guy is not referenced. There is no absolute referencing on it. If I come back to this formula, you can see that it doesn't have any referencing on it, any absolute reference. So that makes it possible that if I move one step forward, this one will move, this will now move to this. That is what it is. So it depends on the aspect on which we are working on. In this particular work, this is our reference point. This is our reference point. And because we want every subject here to reference these criteria we have here. We want math, English, biology, chemistry, physics to reference this, so that we can use it to assign grades based on their total score, is to lock it, to make it fixed, absolutely fixed, so that it doesn't move. That if this is moving, let everything here remains fixed. And that's why we assign $ to all these cells. This is Y2, this is Y3. That's why I will now come here and press F4. F4 to automatically to absolute reference it. F4, that's the keyboard shortcut for applying absolute referencing. So if you want to apply list or to remove it, you press F4 again. F4 now becomes when there is $1, That is mixed. Mixed is when you lock either the column or the row. Absolute means we are locking both the column and the rows. So if we are moving column wise, it will not move. If we are moving row wise, it will not move. But when we assign $sign to the number, this is number, that means we lock only the row movement. We didn't lock the column movement. That's what this means. If I press F4 again, let me come to this. If I press F4 again, it's assigned to column. This becomes a column, briefly reference the column movement, but if I'm moving in the row direction, that will move. If I'm moving in the row direction, that will move. But for this case, we don't want it to move either column or row. We want them to remain fixed. So we assign absolutely. Absolute reference. I will come to this absolute reference. Absolutely. That's what absolute reference is. And mixed reference is when you are you either absolutely reference the column and leave the row, or you reference the row and leave the column. So having explained that, we have rectified this formula, we hit enter. So if we drag it forward, that way it will work. However, let me quickly use this to explain the nested if. Remember, what I use here is ifs. Ifs. Now here I'm going to use nested if. So what does nested if says is simply if inside another if function inside another if. So what are we going to do? We say equals to, we type if, then double click or you press your tab button. If this, we are now in English, if this is greater than or equals to this. Now remember, absolute reference, we press F4. If this is greater than or equals to this, you absolutely reference it, comma. Then what value if true? Give me this. Remember also to absolutely reference it. That's value if true, you press comma. Now the next, value if false, we type another if. That is what we call nested if inside another if. We press tab and then do that again. What if this is greater than or equals to this? Remember F4 to absolutely reference, comma. Then if that is the case, return this for me. That's value if true. Then F4 to absolutely reference it, and you press comma. Let's move forward a bit. You press comma, and that is the second if. Then the next you press and open another if. Double click. What is the logical test? The logical test is if this is greater than or equals to this. Remember absolute reference, then comma. What do I need if it's true? Return this. To absolutely reference it, press comma, and you type another if. Now this, you double click this. What is the logical test? Is the same. If this is greater than or equals to this, absolute reference, F4, comma, return this for me. Absolute reference, that is what we have. Then comma, then the next one is for the 14, we put another if. Now once that comes up, double click. If this is greater than or equals to 40, absolute reference it, press comma, return this for me, and then absolute. Now remember, now we are using if. Now if return both true or false. If the value is true, it will return something for us. If it's false, it will return something for us. So we are going to put comma. Now, if all this, we are saying if all these statements, logical test is not true, that means if this is less than this, return F for me. So we don't need to declare or put another if. The next thing we do is to click on this and then press F4 to lock it. That's what we need. Remember, you close the bracket based on the, you close bracket based on here, you open this 1, 3, 4, and 5. So we are going to close it 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is what we call nested if function. If inside another if. So if you are using Office 2010, Office 2007, which I don't even expect anybody to be using, Office 2013, if you don't have ifs, if, so if we hit enter, automatically it gives us F. Why? Because what is here is still 0, so it's across. I can confidently move it across and it will give me the right answer. So if I double click this, it's still there. If I double click here, it's still there, but it's on chemistry now. It's on chemistry. If enter, if I double click on agric, it's on chemistry. We are looking at total score of agric based on this, which is absolutely correct. So the next thing we do is to highlight all of them and then come here to double click. All right, everything takes care of itself. We double click it down here. Okay, now the next thing we do is we come over to this place to calculate our total score. Now for this student, what is his total score? For this student, what's the total score? We are going to use the function called sum function. It's one of the mostly used function in data analysis, Excel data analysis. So we come here, double click. What is the total? We are going to look at the total for, we are going to look at the total of this, the total from maths to agric for NAT, for Franklin NAT. So I will click and drag. That is the total, and then hit enter. It gives me 0, which is correct. And then the next thing we do is to calculate for the average. To calculate for the average score, which we are going to say equals to average. Double click here. Now, once we say double click here, the average, we are going to look at the total scores again, highlight them, drag, and hit enter. That gives us the average. Now, the next we are going to do is to assign remark. The next we are going to do is to assign remarks. Okay. The next we are going to do is to assign remarks. Now here remarks, we are going to note students that passes and students that fail based on their average score. Let's say in our school, let's say average score, any student that scores below 40 fail. Or in our school, any student that scored the average score, if the average score is say below 45, the person fails. We regard it as failure. That is our choice. So what we are going to do here is to use the if function. We are going to say equals to if the average score is greater than, if the average score is greater than, let's say 45, let's still use this. If the average score is greater than 45, then let's absolute it. Let's say our pass mark for the average score, our pass mark 40, anything greater than, let's say greater than or equals to 45. if it's greater than or equals to 45, that means if the person scored 45, the person pass. But anything less than 45, the person fails. So if that is the case, that's what we are saying. If the average score is greater than or equals to 45, we put comma. What we want to see, we put quotation and then we say pass. We close it and put comma. What if it's not? Then return fail. That is our remark. That's our remarks. And then we hit enter. Here is fail because it's less than 45. Then we're going to use ranks to check position. We are going to use the ranks to check position. Let's highlight this and then use the autofill function. Come over here, double click. Why is this mouse? All right, all of them is failed because that's what it is. Then we come to rank. Rank, we are going to be ranking using someone is saying not audible. Maybe you are still backward, maybe you are coming from behind. We have rectified that audio challenge. So you kindly check again. We have rectified that audio challenge. Maybe you joined late and you are still playing from where we have already passed. Okay, now to check the position, to check the position, what position is, you don't need to be checking who is the highest. You begin to check who is highest, who is following it. The person with the highest average score will be first. The person with the second highest average score will be second, and stuff like that. No, what you just need to do is to use the rank function. Use the rank function. And what does the rank does? Rank does them in their rank, put them in order of their ranks. So what are we going to do here? We say equals to arrow A. Now you see the rank AVG, rank EQ. We double click this. So once we double click this, what are we looking? What do we want to rank? This average score. This average score. That's what we want to rank. Is the average score we want to rank, comma. Then what's the reference? Reference is where are we going to get the range to which we are ranking, to use this score to reference others and know where we can group this score, whether we can group it to be first, second, or third. That means it's still in this same average score. So I will click on this, Control Shift down arrow to highlight the entire range, Control backspace to get back where we are. And then remember to absolutely reference this range, because we are going to drag it down so that when we are dragging it down, it will not move. So you press F4. F4. Let me move forward so that we can see it. We press F4 to highlight this. And then comma is asking us in what order. You can just maybe put 0 there. 0 is descending order, and then close your brackets and hit enter. It says 1 because as it is in this range is still 1. All of them will return 1, 1, 1. So if I double click this, they all return 1, 1, 1. Now we have fully automated this sheet, as we can see here. We have fully automated this sheet. Now let's take, for example, I want to add score, random test scores to to this. And let's say our test is over 30. Let's say our test is over 30. Let me use this function called the rand array. Remember when we talked about this? The rand array is asking us how many rows is 100 rows, comma, how many columns we count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 rows, 7 columns rather. Then we have it is asking us now what's the minimum value. Let's say minimum, no student should score less than 3 in the test, as let's say minimum test score is 3, and then comma, the max is what? 30. Let's say that's our test score. Max test score is 30, and then we close it and hit enter. Automatically it populates this for us. Automatically it populates it for us. Then what do? We need to press Ctrl Shift forward arrow, down arrow, then to highlight the entire range, come over to this, right click, copy, or press Ctrl C, anyone, come over to this place and paste as values, so that we have our scores as we have the score as regards to, how will I put it, values, so that it becomes as values. The next is we can reduce the decimal places. Let's put it in this light, and okay, let's make it this, though is this as well. Then the next thing we are going to do, we are going to do the same to this, say equals, so that we see the full automation of what we did. This one, I'm just generating a random. Real life, you are seeing their test result and you are marking them. So that's on that. Then we say equals to rand array. What is the total? The total rows is 107. Here, the minimum exam score, let's say in exam, nobody scores less than 5. And then the maximum is 270 rather. And then here is integer. I forgot this. That's why he gave me decimal. Here that is giving me whole number, and close this, hit enter. So it generates that for me in whole number. The other one, that's why he gave it to me as regards to decimals. So if you put it in integers, it gives it to you in whole number if you want it to be in whole number. All right. We hold Control, hold Shift, forward arrow. Okay, I forgot we have already. Can we hear me? Can we hear me? Please, let's confirm if you can hear me. We are having a slight network glitch. Just confirm my audibility now. If are we good? Are we good? Let's tell me in the chat. We have lost like 5-10 minutes Let's tell me in the chat. Let's tell me in the chat. Are we good now? Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Can we hear me? I think it's stable now, but I need us to confirm if it's stable from our end. All right, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to do this formula again. Equals round array. What do we want? We want how many rows? 100, comma, how many columns? The columns is 7, comma, minimum of 3, maximum of 30, and then comma, we want it integer, not decimal. So we double click on this, close the parentheses, and hit enter. So that's, we have speed. Why? Because we already have a value, we already have values here. Let me press Ctrl Shift down to delete, and then Ctrl Shift down, delete, so as to cover the rest. We now have this. So what do? We copy all this. Right click, Ctrl C, or you copy, come here, paste as values. Okay, we have this as whole numbers, not as decimals. Okay, that is what we have. Now this is the test score, this is the exam score. This is over 70, this is over 30, which makes the cumulative to be 100. Now moving forward, let's now see what our automations did. Now you see wow. Okay, now this, let's go ahead and see this. This gives me, why 7? Is it okay? Multiplication. Sorry, this shouldn't be multiplication. You see, this should be plus, not multiplication. That gives me error, so let me change it. That should be plus this, not multiplied. I'm using the mindset of sales, profit, cost price times unit sold, or selling price times unit sold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it to this extent and then drag it down. You see, it automatically updates. That automatically updates. Let me so that we can see better this one. Let me do the same here. All right, now you see this one is 55, the total score is 57 rather. Why? Because 35 plus 22, that's 57. Now if we go to grade, you see that falls under C. That falls under C. So that is what we have. For maths is C. This is 45. D, this is 43. E, the person did well in chemistry, physics for this, and all that. So this person we need to check if he or she will go through. We have to do agri science because he did well in agriculture. That's on that anyway. So if we keep on moving forward, we can now see the total score, and the ones that fail, the ones that have A, B, C, and all that. Then on the total score, we have our average score. Now from here we have those that pass and those that fail. Let's check if we have any fail. Of course, now we have the ones that fail. Why? Because the average score is less than 45. Even if it's 44.9, we can say it's 44.9, is still fail. If we go down, we can see another fail, 43.5. So that's our remarks is working. Then we move to position. We can see automatically our ranking does that for us. You see this is first, this person is first, and then as we, each of them, as their score is, as we have this, we see this rank, we see this person is 52 position, this person is the second, is the second position, that is 70.8 something. And now let's see the person that came first. What is the difference? Just 71 and that. So this ranking gives us each student their score, their position, and all that. All right. Now we have designed the sales automation sheet, and you guys say sales result automation sheet. Now let's do some summary statistics, their scores. These summary statistics, we are going to, let me merge this. All right, so here let me also put something like this. What is the highest average? Am I the one that wrote this? Okay, yes. We need to know, okay, who has the highest average, what's the score of the highest average. So to do that, we use the function called maths. We can say pause maths, double click on this. Where is the average? We have our average score, which is this. Hold control, hold shift, press down arrow, then control backspace and hit enter. So that's the highest average. So the person that came first, that's the score, and the minimum, that's the mean. The lowest average will be equals to mean. That's double click on this, click Ctrl Shift down, and then hit enter. Because it will be 0, because there is stuff there that doesn't have results. This 0 here maybe is when we generated that, we made mistakes to generate that. So this is 101. We are working with 100 students. So let me delete this. Let me delete it. It's off. So let's go back to our stuff now that have changed. This is the lowest average, the person that came last. Then we are now going to look at the class average. The class average will now be equals to, we press AV. The class average will be this. And then that's the average score of the entire class. We take them, Ctrl Shift down to highlight the entire range, Control backspace to do that. Is either you do it through here or you do it from the total score. Either way, from this or from the total score, you hit enter. That is the class average. So is the class average, yeah. That's the class average. Then the next stuff, they have an average of 54 points. So is in the pass average. So the class average of the student passed. So if the class average is below pass, then the teacher need to be questioned. We need to ask the teacher question. Why is it that most of the students in your class fail? this is a 100 class. Why is it that most of your students fail? Because from your average, for your average to be below 45, that means most of the student fails. That we need to now look at this teacher's performance, know whether the teacher is doing well or not. All right. Then the next we are going to do here is number of students that passed. We are going to look at the number of students that passed. So we say equals to, we are going to use count if. We begin to see where these functions are helping us to get insight from our data set, analyze our data, get insight so that we can make decisions. So we come here and say count. We select count if. Now the count if, what range are we counting? This, the range of remarks, to know the number of students that pass. So we click on it, Control Shift down arrow to highlight the entire range, Control backspace. Then we put comma. Now what is the criteria? The criteria is pass. I want to count the number of students that passed. Count, if you see pass, you count it. If you see pass, you count it. So that we hit enter. In our class, 87 students pass, which is very, very good for the teacher to have 87 students out of 100 pass, to have a pass mark. That means average score of pass mark. That's something encouraging. Are you having any network glitch? From my end is good. Or do you have any question? You are saying not again. From my end, everything is okay. From my end, everything is good. Check your network. From my end is good. All right. Now we want to check the number of students that failed. Normally, mathematically, we can do basic math by saying 100 minus, because if they don't pass, that means fail. You can do that, or you still use the count function to count the one that fail, the number of students that fail. You can use that. You can say equals 100, because the number of students in the class is 100 minus the number that fail. That's how you can get the number that passed rather. To get the number of those that failed, you can use this. Or you still use the count if, either way, or you still use the count if. So the count if there is okay, this also is okay. All right, now we hit enter. It shows us that is 13 students fail. Now here we want to know our best students. We want to get our best students. We want to get our best students. Thank you, Precious, for confirming that. We want to get our best student. That means the student with the highest average. The student with the highest average. So to do that, we are going to use VLOOKUP to get the student. We don't want to get the score. We have known the score. So we want to see the student that scored this highest average. So we are going to make use of VLOOKUP to find the name of the student, to know who the name of the student. So to do that, we are going to say equals VLOOKUP. Double click this. Now, what is our lookup value? Remember, our lookup value is the highest average. The student with this highest average is our best student. The student with this highest average is our best student. So we are going to click here. That's our lookup value. We are looking for this student. Who is this student that scored 71.1429 as average score? Who is that student? We now say this, we select it and press F4 to lock it. F4 to lock it, comma, lookup array. Where are we looking up for this? We are looking up for this in the average score. This is the average score of each student. So we come here, click, hold Control, hold Shift, press the down arrow to highlight the entire range, Control backspace to return where we are, and we put comma. Then if I search here, Excel is asking, if I search this range and find this, what do you want me to return? Return array. If I find it, what is the corresponding value you want me to return? Return the full name. So here I will come to this place, that's the return array. Control Shift down arrow to what did I do here? Okay. So here I will click on this, Control Shift down arrow to highlight the entire range, Control backspace to return where we are. That becomes our XLOOKUP. So we are not looking at if not found match mode. We want an exact match. We want an exact match. So we hit enter. Automatically it brings out the name of the student. The best student is Isabella Hall. So that's the best student. Now, if we want to get the second best, we can now look at it. We want to get the second best. Either we use from position, and from position, one thing about rank, I forgot to explain to us. One thing about rank is that ranked, if there are two students that has the same average or the same score, rank will give them second. For example, if there are two students that has the same second, rank will give it to them. So if we check our beautiful, now you see this is the same value. That's rank, they score the same. You see, that is 70.8, this, the same value. If we go up, if we copy this, let me copy it, and then let's go up to that one that is second. You see this again. Let me paste it here so that we see that the values are the same from okay, this is working as average. Let me paste it here. That's that. But when you check it, you see that the value is the same. 70.9. The value is the same. So rank checks if it does that. But so what do we do to go to check for second best? We can go through rank. What is the second best? We can come here and put 2 and then move forward and put 3 for the third best. So here we can come over and say equals to XLOOKUP, what's our lookup value? We are looking at this for the second best, then comma, we are looking for this, then in what where are we looking it up? Lookup array here, that's the lookup array. We hold Control, hold Shift, press the down arrow to highlight the entire range, Control backspace to get back where we are, and then comma, where are we looking it for? In the student name, that's this place, and then we have Control Shift down, Control backspace, then we hit enter. So what we see here, we see Steve Lu. Now what it does is to return the first 2 the first that is the first person that he saw. That's what he does. The first. Now, the stuff you can do is to now know that yes, we have so this you can filter it out. You can filter using if this equals this, you can filter it out. You can use filter. So on your own, use the filter function to filter out the 2 students or the 3 students, irrespective the number they have, the 2 students or so that's called that's their second best. You use filter when you study all this and you see there are 2 students, there are 2 this, you can now use filter. But when you use the VLOOKUP function here, it will return the name of the first student. The name of the first student that is on this, as it will return the first student that is on this list that is second for this particular VLOOKUP. So that is one thing I want us to note. So on our own, part of our assignment, part of our project assignment is we can filter out using filter function. I have taught us that filter function. Due to time, I'm not going to dwell much on that. So we go on here to do for the third, we can say equals to use VLOOKUP to get the third stuff for this. And that is our result sheet. That is our result sheet. Now we are going to build our result. Now let's quickly do that. I'm going to come here, copy this. Let me get over to this. Please, I'm going to do it fast. Paste, full name, and then I'm going to come here to copy this. I'm going to copy this, come over to this place here, paste it, okay. All right, let me paste it as transpose. I'm going to paste it like this as transpose. All right, then let me copy it and paste here. All right, so here I will merge and then merge here as well. Let me separate this with this color, the same with this. Then here I will type paste. Let me put it in the middle. Please go with me. Then here I will type exam. All right, then the next thing, let me move this up. Let me move it up a bit. It is merged, that's why. Okay, let me still maintain this. Let me come like this. Okay, now get to this. This is settled. ID. Why is that? Okay. let me just ID, and we come to this. Total, we need to have total. Then from that total, this will take me time. Okay, let me do a summarized slip, but on your own you can, let me do a summarized slip, so that you understand what I'm trying to build. So you understand what I'm trying to build. Let me just call this score. Let me call this score. Then let me delete this. And remove the merge. So let me remove and say no field. So let me drag this up. All right, now I'm going to bring total scores here. I'm going to bring total scores here. So after the total, I'm doing a summary slip, results slip. After that, which is the total score, we are going to have average score, remarks, position. All right, average score, remarks, position. I'm going to have, let me just put it this way, remarks, position. All right, now let's say this is what we have. I'm going to format it a bit, and the color is not necessary. Let me just remove them. Let me say no field. And where is my no border? Okay, no border. Now we have this. Let me insert. Did I delete? Control. All right. Now let's say I have this, and I'm going to make it thick border. Now go to view. I'm going to go to view. Let me remove grid lines, and then I'm going to, from here, Control Shift up. That's what I want. And then let me come here and make it, let's say, this gray color. Then click this down, make it this gray color. From here to Control Shift forward, select gray color. Then from here, Control Shift down to the last, make it gray color. That's what I have. Then I can bring this a bit, and right here I can come over to this. So let me unmatch, delete this. So here, okay, this. All right. Now let's say we select this, go over to this place and come to more border and come over to this place, select, let's say, this dark gray and use, should I use this side border alone and use this and say okay. All right, we have this. Okay, now on the ID, this is name. Now on the name, I'm going to pull the name from the ID. Now here, I'm going to build a data validation. I'm going to build data validation. I will teach it later, but bear in mind, I'm going to do that now. So on this data validation, I'm going to go to data. Under that, come over to this, come to validation. On the validation, I will select list. So where am I getting my source? My source data should be, from here. So here is Control Shift down. That's my source data, and then hit enter. So if I move down and select this, it becomes that. So that is that. Then full name, I'm going to use, let me come over to this place and just make it this color for visibility sake. So I'm going to say equals X lookup. I'm going to use this to bring, I'm going to use that to bring the names in. So X lookup, what am I looking for? This. Then once that's what I'm looking for, I'm going to make it absolute reference, comma. Where am I looking at this for lookup array? I'm going to go over to the result sheet. I'm going to go over to the result sheet. Where is the lookup array? The lookup array is in the ID. That's what we are going to look for. ID, Control Shift down. That's the lookup array. Then we put comma. What is the return array? If I look up that and see it, what do you want me to return? Return the name. I want to return the full name. Control Shift down and then hit enter. So we have NA. We have NA. So if we want to correct this, we use the error handling formula. To correct that NA, we come in front of XLOOKUP, we type if. We see that if error. So double click on it. If these values return error for me, if they are error, comma, value if error, then you can leave it blank. So value if error, open double quotation, close it, and then close the parentheses and hit enter. So that becomes empty, is now empty. Instead of having that NA, we have rectified that using the if error function to handle that error. So on the aspect of the total score, here I need to put total score. So here, hit enter, total score. Now for this, here we are going to, for the total score of English, we are going to use, how will I put it now? We are going to use XLOOKUP as well to bring it. We are going to say equals XLOOKUP. We are going to say equals XLOOKUP. What's the lookup value? English. English is the lookup value. Now, comma, where are we looking for? Where are we looking it for? In the lookup value English, when we find the total, then bring what? We come over to our sheet. This is exam score. This is exam score. This is total. Is math supposed to be there? I know I copied the wrong stuff, but math supposed to be there. But we understand the procedure. So on our own, we need to do that right. I'm just trying to be fast. So where are we looking it for? English. In what was the lookup array? What's the lookup array? The lookup array is this. That's the lookup array. Look, English, we are looking for English. Where is the lookup array? This. Now, if I look it up and find it, what do you want me to return? That's the return array. Comma. The return array is this. Control Shift down. Think so, yeah. Hit enter. Okay. Okay. No. There's something I wanted to do. We are going to say equals X lookup. What are we looking for? We are looking for this person. Look for this person, anybody that is here. Return their total score in English. We are looking for this person. So who is that person? Anybody that is there. Let's press F4. F4 to lock it, comma. Anybody, any name that is here, look for it. Where am I looking for it? Which array? We go over to this and is on the name. Control Shift down. Then, comma, if I find it, what do you want me to return? The return array. If I find it, then come over to the total score. This total score of English. This total score of English, return the corresponding value and hit enter. So we have this. We can as well check. Let's say I put this, you see the value shows up C31, which shows is correct. What we did is correct. So for us to remove this NA, we use the if error function as well. We use the if error function and then come over. If the whole of this is error, you put comma, then open parentheses, double quotation rather, open and close, then close the bracket, hit enter. That is settled. The same way we are going to do for this equals X lookup. We are on making this sleep automated. There are other things we needed to do to that. We are going to say X lookup this, press F4, comma. If we see this, then look up for this. Where? In the student sheet, in this student's result sheet, under the name. So when you find this name, return, you put comma, return the total score. Return the total score for biology. So we come over to this place, Control Shift down arrow and hit enter. It gives us any. So remember to apply the if error. That's the same process you are going to do for these ones. We are going to do it for these ones. What do we call it? Physics, chemistry, and so on. Agreed. You do it. Then the total here, automatically we know that the total becomes the total for this. The total becomes equals sum. We highlight from here down, hit enter. That then the average becomes, of course, from here down, that's our average. That's the average for each student. And the remark will now be equals if this, the total score is greater than or equals to 45. For example, comma, we say pass. We close it, comma, if not open, we say fail. This becomes more like a result slip. We hit enter. Then the position, we pull it up. If we look out for the student ID, using the student ID, we can now say equals, use X lookup, equals X lookup, double click. You say what is here, F4, comma, then where are we looking it at is at the student ID, Control Shift down, comma, if I find that student, in that student ID, if I find it, what do you want me to return? What do you want me to return? I want you to return the rank, the position. So here, Control Shift down arrow, and then we hit enter. It gives us any. So what that is that, for example, this person, if we want to print their result, by Thursday, we are going to add some designs to this to make it look good, and then it becomes printable. So if we select this, of course, you see what we have here. This is position 56. This particular student, the position is 56. So once we fill up everything here, we are going to get the accurate results here. So that way it makes it dynamic, that once we come here, we select this student, we print, we select that student. If we select here, it changes. If we select this, it changes. Also, we can shift this a bit so that we have a good stuff. So that makes it to be dynamic. This becomes our student results slip, where you can have the result sheet on a separate workbook and then design your student result slip on another workbook and then give it to the person that is to the admin. Give this page to the admin to print. The admin will not have any way to change the score or to edit the score, whatever, anything. Just the student result sheet can be in another workbook. Why this slip can be in another workbook? You design it and pull this result here from that workbook into this, and then it can be printed out, hand over to the student, and that we take it off from there. Or you can copy whatever that is here and take it to Microsoft Word. We are going to be looking at paste special. I think I have taught us that, paste special. You copy whatever that is here, link it to Microsoft Word, and then you print. Or you do what we are going to be learning, Excel Word merge. We are going to learn that, how to link your Excel with Microsoft Word, and then do the mailing as fast as possible. Jibril says it's not clear, sir. Please let me know where you are having challenge. Let me know where you are having challenge. We're supposed to be rounding up. I wanted to teach on the aspect of both commission. This commission will not take time, but the explanation will take time. It's not difficult. It won't take time. By Thursday, I will take time to start, finish it, and then move to what we have. By next week, by this Thursday, we will be going deeper into payroll system, into inventory management. We also might Thursday, Friday, we will be looking at payroll, we will be looking at inventory management, and we will complete this sales commission calculator, and then we get, if there is time, we get to do another stuff. All right. Now, our first project assignment for this scholarship course is to design a student result sheet, automated, like we have here. Automated. Design a student result sheet. Get both the summary statistics, get both the grades, the remarks, the total scores, average, all this. So the first assignment, the first project assignment is to design or to create student result automated sheet that once you enter the test score, the exam score, every other thing calculates by itself. Every other thing calculates by itself. Now, let's say I don't want, let's see the way I want it to be. This is the way I want it to be. Let me remove this. This is the way your result, when you are submitting your assignment, this is the way it will be. This is the way it will be. In that regard, whatsoever, this is the way it will be. Like this. So that when one enters the result, every other thing calculates. That's an automated sheet. That's what we call result sheet template. So result sheet template, design an automated student result sheet template that just only require to enter scores. Others will be calculated by itself. That is our first project assignment. And when you are saving your work as a template is where the formula will be retained. If you save this and send it to me, I might not see the formula, it might not be there. But when you save it as template, if this now, if what I have here, I want to save it as a template, where my original data set will still remain, and what this will be as template where I can send it to anybody. Maybe a school contacted me to design a result sheet for them. I finished designing it. I can send it to them. The teachers can take it, edit it, change the subject, change the class. They can change the class stuff here, but the automation remains. So the school can tell me the number of subjects they handle for so class. I do that. So the student ID, the teachers can now change the student ID by themselves, change the student name, change the class, but the calculation remains. So the only thing that every term, every semester, they just enter the test score, the exam score, every other thing is calculated. Who is first, who has the first position, second position, everything is calculated. Then when you are done, you also design the results slip, the student results slip. We call this student results slip. By Thursday, we are going to add more flair to it. So to save your work as a template, so as other persons can see the formula, can use what you design, you go to File, go to Save As. Go to Save As. Now on Save As, let's say I want to save it on my desktop. I click on the desktop. Here is saved as Excel workbook. I'm going to change it. Let me add it to 2. I'm going to now go to this. You see, you will have Excel workbook, Excel macro enabled. When you come down, you see Excel templates. Excel template. So I'm going to save this as a template. So if I click on it, and now where I'm saving it is on my desktop. This, where do you want it? Let it be on desktop, and then I'm going to save it. Let me press save. So this is now saved as template, that if I send it to someone, the person can automatically take that template and use. That's where you see in your Excel, you can see some template when we started. If I go to open, you will see, if I go to new, you will see some templates. These are templates. This is date tracker Gantt chart. You see it, Gantt project planner. These are templates. So if I want to do a project plan and I don't want to build it from scratch, I can take any of these templates and then put in my values. Other things will take care of itself. Or I'm talking about monthly budget. These are different templates. So that same way, you can save your work as a template, that when someone gets it, the person just needs to enter. If you copy, if you save it and send it to someone else, the person should be able to use it right from start without putting the formulas again. So when you finish your project, save it as template and then send it to me as to submitting. You are submitting it on my DM. You submit to my DM, please. That, I believe that is clear. And also in your workplace, let's say you are serving, let's say you are working in a place, you design a template, a result template for them. You save it as template and give it to any of them. They can start using it without even knowing what you did. We will get to data security, how you can apply some security measures to your data set for security purposes. And ladies and gentlemen, it's on that note we have come to the end of tonight's section. Let me get your attendance, your name, your scholarship ID, your location. Your name, scholarship ID, your location, much appreciated. And also let me get your feedback. How is tonight's section? Let me get your feedback. How is tonight's section? We have come to the end of the section tonight. Once again, thank you as many that are available that up to this time. Thank you for staying up till now. Your name, your scholarship ID, your location. Now I'm taking my attendance. Your name, your scholarship ID, and your location. Remember, the first assignment is to create student result sheet template, automated student result sheet template. 100 students, like you saw me did tonight. That is our first project assignment. All right, let me get our attendance, your name, scholarship ID, and your location, much appreciated. Also your feedback. How is the section this night? How is the section? What did you learn this night? How is tonight's section? Let me get that feedback from us. How is tonight's section? And also remember to drop your name, your scholarship ID, and your location. Much appreciated. Our week one assignment will be submitted next week. The deadline for submission is next week. Next week, Saturday, or let me say next week, Sunday. That's the deadline for submission. Next week, Sunday is the deadline for submission. How is the session tonight? Your name, your scholarship ID. Much appreciated. Thank you for being available. Thank you for being available. Precious Chidinman, see your registration. Warisu, you didn't put your name, you just put an ID Lagos. Just your name, your scholarship ID, your location. That's the format of our address, of our attendance rather. That's the format of our attendance. And also, let me get your feedback. How is the section? How is tonight's section? Williams at Demo Oshobo, interesting and helpful, beautiful. Thank you for that wonderful feedback. Thank you for that wonderful feedback. Let's keep the attendance coming. Let's keep the attendance coming. Okay. Let's keep it coming. And it's on that note, I will say a very good night to us. Enjoy your night rest. See you all on Thursday.